Hey, Dana here, and welcome to my blog. I am so excited because I have finally fixed a thorn in my side on my O2 Malibu. People have a lot of problems because all of a sudden they'll go out to start their car and it won't start, and it won't crank. Well, it'll crank, but it won't start. And right now what you're seeing is the anti-theft light blinking. Okay? Well, to make a long story short, I wasn't getting this indication here. And I bought this vehicle from a friend of mine because he'd had it to mechanics and they couldn't figure this thing out. And I got into it, and I wasn't getting any check engine lights. I wasn't getting any indications from the anti-theft. And what you're seeing right now is that's blinking. I've got this set right now. To reset it, you're going to turn your key on and let it set for 10 minutes. And then that light will go out, and you should be able to start it. Okay? Well, I'm going to find out that's not going to be the case here in a minute, because I'm going backwards. I've solved my problem, and now I'm going to do this video for everybody who's had the same problem and may still have the same problem. Now, I've been working on this thing for almost a month since I got it. I've changed the cam sensor. I've changed the front crank sensor. My buddy said that he had a shop that changed the front crank sensor. They didn't change the other sensors. They just changed that back crank sensor. I've checked all my wiring for 5 volts going to all my sensors, and this has gotten worse and worse. And all of a sudden now, it wouldn't even crank. Well, it would crank, but it wouldn't even start. Before I could drive it for a day or two, Buddy was able to drive it for a week or two. Okay, so these are some of the symptoms that the vehicle's had, and then I got in there and tried to disconnect the. I was going after the anti-theft, but that didn't seem to cure the problem. But now I've got the anti-theft is actually working like it should. Okay. All right, back to where I got in there and found got into Google and found out what the most issues were with this vehicle, and it is the ignition switch setting off the anti-theft. So I said, okay, that's where I'm heading. So this is where I'm at now. This is the old one. This is the old ignition hub, should I say? I want to say. And then you got the ignition switch. Okay. On top of the ignition switch, here's another one. You've got this little sensor. Okay. And this is. I went to the junkyard, and I picked up a whole new. Well, one minute whole new, but it's the whole ignition switch assembly with the ignition key assembly. And I've already plugged this in, and I've already tried it, and lo and behold, the car now starts, and it starts fine. After you reset the anti-theft system. So I'm going backwards, and I put the old ignition assembly back in with the original. This is the original setup here. And as soon as that anti-theft light goes out, then we'll be back to normal. And what has been happening is I've been getting a crank and then a shutdown. Couple seconds and then it'll shut down. I also, prior to that, was not getting an ignition at all. And what I did is I pulled the ignition switch out, and then I turn the key, or turn the internal mechanism inside here. Probably see it in there. There you go. With a screwdriver. And lo and behold, she cranked, fired, and shut down. So I knew I was close to succeeding. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to wait as soon as I get that anti-theft light to go out. It's still blinking. I will be back.